ignored Lumo's words. He demanded immediate results and threatened the boa with harm. In a land far away, there lay the majestic kingdom of Arawa, where prosperity and harmony were as natural as the breath of the wind. Lush green fields rolled over the land, crystal-clear rivers cut through the valleys, and the people of Arawa lived in joyful unity. Presiding over this beautiful kingdom was Queen Zara, a wise, gentle, and strong-hearted ruler. Under her leadership, Arawa flourished, becoming a beacon of hope and strength for all surrounding kingdoms. Queen Zara was beloved by her people for her compassion and devotion. She was known to walk among her subjects, listening to their stories, sharing their joys, and understanding their challenges. The people felt her presence not just as a ruler, but as a guardian who genuinely cared for their well-being. One fine day, as the sun kissed the earth and the fragrance of blossoms filled the air, Queen Zara took a leisurely stroll through the royal gardens. The gardens were a paradise in themselves, filled with vibrant flowers, gentle streams, and ancient trees whose leaves whispered the secrets of the past. As she wandered, Zara heard a faint, almost melodic hissing sound. It was unlike anything she had heard before. Intrigued, she followed the sound, her curiosity leading her to a quiet corner of the garden where the brook bubbled gently over smooth stones. There, basking in the sunlight beside the brook, lay a magnificent boa. Its scales shimmered with an otherworldly glow, an iridescent mix of emerald green and deep gold. The boa, whose name was Lumo, was no ordinary creature. His eyes glistened with intelligence, and his very presence exuded an aura of wisdom and magic. Queen Zara, ever composed and fearless, approached Lumo with respect. As she drew closer, the boa raised his head and looked directly at her, his gaze both powerful and gentle. To her utter amazement, the boa spoke, his voice deep and melodic, resonating through the air with a warmth that belied his serpentine form. "Greetings, Queen Zara of Arawa," Lumo said, his voice carrying a tone of reverence. "I have watched over this kingdom for many years, observing your wise and compassionate rule. Your actions have shown a rare kindness and dedication to your people and the natural world. And for that, I have decided to reveal myself to you." Queen Zara, though astonished, remained calm and composed. She bowed her head slightly in acknowledgement. "Lumo, magnificent boa of the enchanted woods, it is an honor to stand before you. What brings you to my kingdom, and how may I serve you?" she asked with sincere curiosity. Lumo's eyes gleamed, and a subtle smile seemed to curve across his scaled face. "It is not what you can do for me, Queen Zara, but what we can achieve together. I have seen the love you have for your people and the respect you hold for the creatures of this land. I wish to offer you my friendship and counsel. Together we can bring even greater prosperity to Arawa, prosperity that is rooted in harmony, respect, and the magic of the natural world." From that day onward, Lumo became Queen Zara's most trusted advisor. Whenever faced with difficult decisions or challenges in governance, Zara would seek Lumo's counsel. His wisdom, born of centuries spent observing the world, offered insights that were far beyond the reach of any human advisor. Lumo's presence was a blessing to the kingdom. His advice brought solutions to complex problems, solutions that were not only effective, but also just. Under the guidance of Queen Zara and Lumo, Arawa thrived as never before. The fields yielded record harvests, the rivers remained pure and plentiful, and the people of Arawa lived in unity and happiness. The animals of the land also seemed to thrive, as if the very essence of nature had aligned with the kingdom's destiny. The bond between Queen Zara and Lumo soon became the talk of the kingdom. The people marveled at the queen's wisdom and the way she spoke of Lumo's guidance. It wasn't long before whispers of this extraordinary friendship spread beyond Arawa's borders and reached neighboring lands. In a neighboring kingdom, the Kingdom of Malakar, there ruled a very different kind of leader, King Darius. Unlike Queen Zara, who led with compassion and humility, King Darius was driven by ambition and greed. Though his kingdom was stable, it lacked the prosperity and joy that characterized Arawa. The news of Arawa's flourishing state stirred envy in Darius's heart, and he became consumed with a desire to learn the secret behind Zara's success. Determined to uncover the source of Arawa's prosperity, King Darius sent his most trusted spies to gather information. These spies traveled to Arawa, mingled with its people, and soon discovered the story of the queen's unusual friendship with the enchanted boa. They brought this information back to King Darius, who, upon learning of Lumo, became obsessed with the idea of acquiring the boa's power for himself. Darius decided that he must see this boa for himself and, if possible, take him back to Malakar. He devised a plan to visit Arawa under the guise of a diplomatic mission. He would pretend to seek an alliance with Queen Zara, all the while plotting to steal away the enchanted boa. With an entourage of servants and gifts, King Darius travelled to Arawa. Queen Zara, ever gracious, welcomed him with the hospitality that Arawa was known for. She treated him as an honoured guest, showing him the beauty of her kingdom and sharing with him the warmth of her people. During his visit, King Darius observed Queen Zara closely. He watched as she consulted Lumo in the royal gardens, speaking to the boa as if he were an old friend. The sight filled Darius with both awe and envy. He could sense the powerful aura surrounding Lumo, the unmistakable presence of magic. One evening, as they dined in the grand hall of Arawa's palace, King Darius broached the subject with a practiced smile. "Your Majesty," he began, his voice smooth, "I must say, I am deeply impressed by the prosperity of your kingdom. It is truly remarkable. I have heard tales of your unique friendship with a magnificent boa. Lumo, I believe. Would you be so kind as to share the secret behind your kingdom's success with me?" Queen Zara, wise and perceptive, could see the hunger in King Darius's eyes. She knew that his interest was not born of genuine curiosity, but of envy. Nevertheless, she answered him truthfully. "King Darius," she said with a gentle smile, "the prosperity of Arawa is no secret. It is the result of kindness, cooperation, and respect, for each other and for the natural world. The bond I share with Lumo is built on trust and mutual respect, not on power or magic. There is no secret formula, only the values we hold dear." King Darius listened, but his heart was closed to her words. He believed there must be something more, something magical that he could use to bring the same prosperity to Malakar. Unsatisfied with Zara's response, he decided to take matters into his own hands. Late that night, under the cover of darkness, King Darius put his plan into action. He ordered his soldiers to enter the royal gardens and capture Lumo. The soldiers moved swiftly and silently, and soon they had the enchanted boa bound and caged. When news of Lumo's disappearance reached Queen Zara the next morning, her heart sank. She knew at once who was responsible, and she understood the gravity of the situation. Lumo was not just her friend, he was a guardian of the natural balance. His capture would bring not only sorrow but also dire consequences for the entire kingdom. When news of Lumo's disappearance reached Queen Zara the next morning, her heart sank. She knew at once who was responsible, and she understood the gravity of the situation. Lumo was not just her friend, he was a guardian of the natural balance. His capture would bring not only sorrow but also dire consequences for the entire kingdom. King Darius approached the cage, his eyes gleaming with triumph. "Tell me, Lumo," he said, his voice dripping with arrogance. "Tell me the secret to Arawa's prosperity. Share your magic with me, and I will make you the most revered creature in all of Malakar." Lumo, despite his confinement, remained calm. His eyes met Darius's with a steady gaze. "Release me, King Darius," he said, his voice unwavering, "and I will share with you the wisdom of true prosperity. But know this, true wealth cannot be taken by force. It comes from a heart filled with compassion, fairness, and respect. Your greed will bring you nothing but ruin." King Darius, consumed by his ambition, ignored Lumo's words. He demanded immediate results and threatened the boa with harm if he did not comply. But Lumo was not easily swayed. He knew that to reveal the true source of Arawa's prosperity to a king driven by greed would be to invite disaster, not just for Ariwa, but for Malakar as well. Back in Ariwa, the absence of Lumo was felt almost immediately. The magical balance that he had helped maintain was disrupted, and the kingdom began to suffer. The once vibrant fields began to wither, the rivers ran shallow, and the people who had always known abundance now faced hardship. A sense of unease settled over the land, and the joy that had once filled Arawa seemed to fade. Queen Zara, seeing the suffering of her people, knew she could not stand idly by. She realized that the only way to restore balance was to bring Lumo back. She resolved to take matters into her own hands, even if it meant venturing into enemy territory. Determined to save her friend and her kingdom, Queen Zara disguised herself as a wandering storyteller. She donned simple worn clothes and covered her face with a hood to conceal her identity. She set out on foot, traveling to Malakar with nothing but her courage and her wits. Upon reaching Malakar, Zara made her way to the bustling marketplace near the castle. She began to tell stories, tales of adventure, love, and magic. Her voice was captivating, and soon she had gathered a crowd. Her stories reached the ears of the castle guards, who, impressed by her talent, invited her to perform at the castle for the king. Queen Zara accepted the invitation, her heart pounding with both fear and hope. She knew that this was her chance to find Lumo and bring him home. That evening, Queen Zara stood before King Darius and his court, her voice ringing out through the grand hall as she spun tales that captivated all who listened. As she performed, her eyes scanned the room, searching for any sign of Lumo. Finally, she saw him, imprisoned in a large iron cage positioned near the back of the hall. He looked weak, his scales dull, but his eyes still held the spark of life. Zara's heart ached at the sight of her friend in such a state, but she knew she had to stay calm. After her performance, Zara was given permission to walk through the hall. She approached Lumo's cage and, under her breath, whispered, "Fear not, my dear friend. I have come to free you and restore balance to our lands." Lumo's eyes met hers, and he nodded, a glimmer of hope returning to his gaze. Queen Zara knew she had to act carefully. She approached King Darius, her voice steady and sincere. "Your Majesty," she said, "the boa you hold captive possesses great wisdom. If you wish to learn the secret to prosperity, you must first set him free. Only then will he share his knowledge with you." King Darius, desperate for the secrets of Arawa, hesitated. But Zara's words seemed to strike a chord with him, and after much persuasion, he agreed to release Lumo, believing that the boa would reveal the magic he so craved. As the guards unlocked the cage and Lumo was set free, a shift seemed to occur in the air. The magic that had been disrupted began to realign, and far away in Arewa, the land responded. The rivers began to swell once more, the fields regained their colour, and the people felt a renewed sense of hope. Once freed, Lumo turned to face King Darius. "True prosperity," he said, his voice echoing through the hall, "comes not from power or wealth, but from the values of the heart, kindness, fairness, and respect. It cannot be taken by force or deception. It must be nurtured and shared." Queen Zara understands this, and it is why her kingdom thrives. Learn from her example, King Darius, and you too may find prosperity. But King Darius, blinded by his own greed, refused to accept Lumo's words. Frustrated and angry, he ordered his guards to imprison both Lumo and Zara, hoping to extract the secret of prosperity by force. Locked in a dark cell, Queen Zara and Lumo knew they had to act quickly. With Lumo's magical abilities and Zara's intelligence, they devised a plan. Lumo used his powers to put the guards into a deep, enchanted slumber, while Zara used her cunning to unlock the door. Together, they navigated the winding corridors of the castle. moving silently through the shadows. They managed to escape the castle and make their way out of Malakar, fleeing under the cover of night. As they crossed the border back into Arawa, the air seemed to change. The land welcomed them home, and the balance that had been lost was restored. The rivers flowed freely, the crops stood tall, and the people, seeing the return of their queen and the enchanted boa, rejoiced. With Lumo's return, the magical harmony of Arewa was fully restored. The kingdom once again became a place of beauty and abundance. The people, having witnessed the consequences of greed firsthand, understood the importance of unity, kindness, and respect for all beings. Queen Zara continued to rule with wisdom and compassion, and Lumo remained her loyal advisor and friend. Together, they ensured that Arawa would never again fall prey to envy or greed. The tale of Queen Zara and Lumo spread far and wide, becoming a cherished story passed down through generations. It was told not only as an enchanting tale of magic and adventure, but also as a powerful reminder of the values that lead to true prosperity. King Darius, humbled by his failure, eventually realized the truth in Lumo's words. Though it was too late to undo the damage he had caused, he began to lead his kingdom with a renewed sense of fairness and humility, hoping to one day achieve the prosperity that Arewa enjoyed, not through force but through the values of the heart. And so, the story of Queen Zara and the enchanted boa became a legend, a tale of wisdom, friendship, and the true meaning of wealth, teaching everyone that real prosperity is found not in power or riches, but in compassion, integrity, and the bonds that connect us all.